under the shadow of the past. Complete story. Sofía reclined on the sofa, looking out the window. The city was quiet that afternoon. The sun was setting and everything seemed perfect. However, inside, something didn't fit. She had achieved everything she had wanted: a successful career, a stable life, and a peace she had achieved with years of effort. But there was something that always haunted her. Haba, Daniel. He had been her great love, her first love. They had been together for years, sharing dreams, plans, and promises, until everything fell apart. One day, Daniel simply left her, without explanation, without a clear reason. Sofía was devastated, and no matter how hard she tried to move on, a part of her always searched for him in her memories. But all that seemed to be behind until a message appeared on her phone. "I'm Daniel, I'm back in town, can we talk?" Sofía looked at the screen in shock. She didn't expect him to ever return. 3 years had already passed since they separated, and although the pain remained in his heart, he had learned to live without him. What did he want now? The decision to answer him was not easy, but something inside him told him that he needed. "I understand what happened." So, after a couple of days of doubts, he accepted Daniel's invitation to meet. They met in a small, quiet restaurant where the noise of the city could not interrupt their conversation. When she entered, she saw him immediately. Her heart skipped a beat, as if time had not passed. There he was, with the same intense gaze she remembered, and that familiar smile that had made her fall in love with him at the time. "Hello," Sofía said. Daniel, getting up to hug her. Sofía hesitated for a moment before accepting the hug, feeling how his body reacted automatically, despite his mind telling him not to yield. "Hello, Daniel," she replied, taking a seat. There was an uncomfortable silence between them. The memories they hovered in the air, but neither of them knew where to begin. Finally, Daniel broke the ice. "I know it was unexpected that I appeared like this, after so long, but I had to see you, I had. That I explained to you why I did it, why I left you without a word, without an explanation." Sofía looked at him fixedly. She wanted to hear what he had to say, but her heart was protected by a wall of contradictory emotions. "Daniel, 3 years. 3 years without knowing anything about you, and now you return and expect everything to be as before?" He leaned towards her with a serious look. "I know I failed you, Sofía, but I did it because I thought I was protecting you. I thought it was the best for you." Sofía looked at him confused. She didn't understand. How could he have protected her by leaving her without an explanation? "I don't understand. If you loved me, how could it be best for me that you left without saying anything?" he asked, anger beginning to form in his voice. Daniel rubbed his forehead, as if he were struggling in your own words. "There was something in my life that I didn't want to affect yours. I was involved in something that I didn't want to hurt you, and at that moment, I believed that disappearing was the major." Sofía remained silent, processing what she had just heard. What was that he was talking about? What kind of trouble had he been involved in? What kind of things, Daniel? What was so impo? "Are you upset that I left you without a word?" He sighed deeply, his face full of guilt. "I was in serious financial trouble. I was in debt, with people who wanted nothing good for me. And I thought that if you stayed with me, I would put you in danger. I loved you too much to drag you into that." Sofía remained motionless, looking at Daniel. The revelation hit her hard. Always had PA. I knew that he had left her for someone else, or that he simply didn't want her anymore. But now I understood that he had done it because he thought he would protect her from something he couldn't control. Why didn't you tell me?" "What did you say, Daniel?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Why didn't you give me the opportunity to be there with you, to face it together?" Daniel looked at her, his eyes full of regret. "I did because, and I believed that by leaving, I would save you pain. I didn't want to drag you down with me into an abyss from which I couldn't escape. But I was wrong. The greatest pain was losing you." Sofía felt a mix of emotions. The pain, the anger, the sadness, everything she had kept inside for years surged forth. But also something else, something she couldn't ignore. "I don't know if I can forgive you, Daniel," she finally said, Ente. "I don't know if I can trust you again after all this." He nodded, as if he already knew. The silence between them grew heavy and uncomfortable. "I understand. I just wanted you to know the truth. That you knew it was never because I didn't love you. I loved you and I always will. I only hope that, someday, you can find forgiveness in your heart. And if not, I will understand." The following days it was difficult for Sofía. The conversation with Daniel had left her full of doubts. On the one hand, she understood his reasons, but on the other, she could not erase the damage caused by his departure without explanation. Finally, after much thought, Sofía decided that she could not live tied to the past. She had been a version of herself that had suffered for a long time, but the time had come to move on. Daniel had his place in the past, but she deserved something more. With a mixture of sadness and determination, Sofía let go of her love for Daniel. Sometimes the answers were not her efficient to heal a deep wound. And although she had loved him, she knew that the best thing was to follow her own path. End.